Good evening. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kabhi bhiriritam kalmashapaham sravanamangalam srimadatatam bhubi grinanti e bhurida janaha. Today is a very special way. Sri Ramakrishna, who never could say anything about himself and always tried to hide himself, so he is now expressing himself to very close devotees. And why you should say close devotees? There are other people who are also there. But in a wonderful mood, in an ecstatic mood, he is telling them. But this is the page number 587 of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We will read from here. It is one thing to learn about God from the scriptures, and quite another to see Him. So this is a wonderful statement. When we read about God in the scriptures, we develop some idea, some conception, and we think that is God. Why we differ? So almost each and every individual is differing with others about God. Why? Because he or she is thinking about God after reading the scripture from the books of the holy people and then developing a conception. So they are thinking God is like this, God is like that, God cannot be like this, God cannot be like that. But Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is telling that that is completely one thing. But when you see God, when you realize God, when you become yourself God, that is a completely different experience. So naturally everything changes. When you hear about a place, you read in the book, in the geography book, and you see the pictures, you listen to the people who have visited that place. But when you go to that place, experience yourself, that's completely different. So that is the idea, that is the thing. And Sri Ramakrishna is telling that to learn about God from the scripture and quite another to see Him. The scriptures only give hints. Therefore, to read a great many scriptures is not necessary. So when we go on reading different type of scriptures, what happens? Our mind goes wandering into these and in that, and by that way our focus is lost. So it says, it's better to read only one or two scripture, understand that and hold to that. This is the one way Sri Ramakrishna is telling. And then he is telling the master went into an ecstatic mood, that Sri Ramakrishna, he went into this is a very, very, very special in Sri Ramakrishna. He was just normal, talking, joking, and suddenly he goes to a very high spiritual mood. When he goes to that particular mood and he comes with the truth, blessed are those who were there just before him, they listened to him, he in that mood. The master went into an ecstatic mood while watching the evening worship of Kali in the company of the devotees. Those who have visited the Dakshineshwar, you know, there's a huge, big the compound, the master's room in one corner, Kali temple in another corner. He used to walk and then he was watching the Arati, evening Arati. It says that when people are singing and the Arati is going on, that time one should not meditate. Rather, one should look at the picture, because that is the time, the main joy that expresses through that images or the pictures. So he went over there and went into that ecstatic mood. He was in no condition even to salute the image, because external, that consciousness was not at all there. Very carefully he returned to his room with the devotees and sat down. He was still in an ecstatic mood. He spoke to them while in that state, slowly bringing it down and talking to them. How it is? We get a glimpse from the Bhagavad Gita and afterwards in the Mahabharata. When all this war was over, then the Arjuna, he requested the Krishna to tell that Bhagavad Gita once again. The Bhagavad Gita which was delivered to him, to the Arjuna by Sri Krishna in the battlefield, and after the battle was over, they won the battle and after settled, then he said, Krishna, can you please repeat what you said at that time? The reply of the Krishna was, I cannot. Because I was in that particular mood from where all this thing came. This human body, and through this human body, it is very peculiar. We won't be able to understand. Some of the people, they will doubt about it. But this is really true. When the mind goes into that, the truth comes, the flow comes, and whatever you say, that is very beneficial for the people who can accept it. So Krishna couldn't do that. He couldn't repeat that because he was not in that mood. Sri Ramakrishna, from that mood, he comes down and he is telling. In the room was Hari, a young man about 20 years of age, who was a relative of the Mukherjees and was very much devoted to Master. The Sri Ramakrishna, he used to like him, so he is telling, Master to Hari, in an ecstatic mood, take your initiation after getting your mother's permission. This initiation is very important. Why? Because you are taking, and see, one should be careful about taking the initiation. We can go to any person. There are nowadays innumerable number people are everywhere. They are giving the initiation without knowing what exactly the initiation. Sometimes those who are practicing yoga, they also say we have got the initiation. Those who are health only, they are practicing some of the physical the exercises. Even then they say now we got initiation, but that is not initiation. Initiation is particularly for the development of the spiritual strength. And that comes from the Guru and the Guru tradition. And Sri Ramakrishna will tell what is this Guru tradition. Afterwards, a few lines after, we come to that particular word, what he says. And he is telling, take your initiation after getting your mother's permission. Why mother's permission? Now, after nowadays, in the modern time, after 18 years, you can take your own decision. But in those days, in the beginning of the 19th century, so people were very well connected in the family, a mother, the father, or any senior person. And that is the Indian society, the custom. You have to take permission for everything from the senior one. Mother was there, so to take the permission from the mother. I couldn't give him the mantra, though I said I would initiate him. Sri Ramakrishna said, I couldn't give him the mantra. Then he said, Master telling to that person, I am saying these to you. Believe my word. There is no show or deceit here. This is important. The Guru is he. In his character, in his behavior, in his attitude, in his life, he is not deceiving anyone. There is no deceit. Sometimes it comes in the TV or whatever. Suddenly it will pop up, an advertisement. When you are seeing the news and suddenly it will come up. So much of money they are spending on advertisement. Can you imagine? So when you are listening or reading the news and it comes up and it goes for a long time, maybe a minute or so, that long advertisement means how much money they have spent. And Guru is sitting in a nice condition and sitting by the side of a river, the tree, the birds, the animals, as if so. Whole advertisement. Why a Guru should have to give the advertisement? So this is the problem. If the people can understand that, they'll say, okay, thank you. You're a good man, I suppose, but I'm not going to take the initiation from you. I'm not going to receive the instruction from you. So who can give the instruction, true instruction? One who is not, as Sri Ramakrishna is telling, no show. दिखावत नहीं है, in Hindi में they say. No show at all and no deceit. He will never do anything to deceive a person. Why? It is not necessary. As because the Guru, the instructor, the teacher, he is not accepting this world, this universe as true, as real. So obviously, why we should be so careful about the popularity and all those things? It is not necessary. If people they come, it's good. If they don't come, okay. It's God's will. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, whom he loved, he is telling to that, I am saying this to you, and this you means actually the Priya Mukherjee. That's how blessed he is. In this state of my mind, believe my words, there is no show or deceit here. I just say to the Divine Mother. A few moments earlier, he was attending the prayer. Perhaps that time he said to the Divine Mother, that he is disclosing. I just say to the Divine Mother, O Mother, may those who come here, referring to himself, through sincere attraction, obtain perfection. Those who come here to the ideology of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. What is the ideology of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna? Purity, love, unselfishness. It is a purity. Why? Because it is completely God and nothing else. When the world comes in the mind, the name and mind, and that means ego is there. Otherwise, why it will be? And when the ego is absent, what remains? Only the Atman. And that is why it is pure. Atman is always pure. So he says in this way that completely, and then he is telling through the sincere attraction. The people, they are getting attracted to different type of people. Why? Because according to your mental condition. Some people are thinking, if I go and he keeps his hand on my head, all my problem will be solved. So he goes to that. Not for God realization, for solving the problem. That's all. There is nothing bad, it's okay. But it's all just beginning, maybe. But those who are really sincere want to get rid of this birth and death, this circle after circle. The Shadavikara, 6 types of changes in the body, mind, again taking some form, somewhere, suffering, again. Why should I? When I understand this, then I say, sufficient, enough, I don't need it. That is called sincere effort. Or if there is no, I like to go and have some idea this and that, experience this, experience that, then what? I was just reading in the newspaper, very unfortunate, in the California, that is almost normal. So the fire has come and it is in the billionaires area. The people are leaving their houses. One person he has given the name is very famous, and he constructed a big building of 8 bedrooms. He left that and with his children and wife going on knocking the different hotels rooms only to get the chance to stay the night. And a man who is having a building which cost billion, and he is now going door to different, because all hotels are booked. So look at the condition. Any time anything may happen. We do not know what is going to happen. And just because I am a rich man, just because I have constructed a huge building and then I am safe. No, not at all. Anything may happen any time. And if we understand this temporariness, then we go to God and say, God, this is all temporary. Whatever we make, God forbid that building should not be destroyed and should not be burned, but this terrible fire is going on. So this happened, and naturally I should not be attracted to the worldly properties and things. And comfortable thing is okay, that much. Why should I have to spend so much of money? So this way we have to understand, sincerely coming to the God Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. I have given the title of today's talk, Sri Ramakrishna the God. I am not a fanatic, but I have 100% faith that Sri Ramakrishna is God. And when Sri Ramakrishna speaks about God, about the truth, it is so simple and so direct and so easy to understand. But if you read the scripture, just as an example, I will read the 8th verse of the Isha Upanishad. It's a very famous Upanishad, Isha Upanishad. It talks about the Atman, and it gives what? All the idea. It goes on giving as maximum possible. So it goes on giving like this. Saparyagat shukram akayam abranam asnaviram shuddham apapaviddam kabi manishi paribhu sayambhu yatha tathat arthat vyadadat shashyatibhya samabhya. Now, some idea. How much we could understand? Sa means eat, that's the Atman. Paryagat, all pervasive. Shukram, the pure. Akayam, bodiless. Abranam, woundless. Asnaviram, without sinews. Then Shuddham, taintless. Apapaviddham, without sin. Kabi, omniscient. Manishi, ruler of the mind. And Paribhu, transcendent. Sayambhu, self-existent. Now these are the words. People are reading the Upanishad and then they're meditating on the Upanishad, trying to understand the meaning of it. But here, how many of us will be able to understand this? It needs the intellect like Shankaracharya to understand and to realize. This is really very difficult. And that is where the God Himself comes down, take the human form, live just like us, with us. And then He says, have a sincere mind and come to God. What will happen? Success. What is success? Spirituality. And what only you need is the faith. And faith in the words of God. That's why He is telling, believe my words. To whoever comes and then he wants to begin the life in the spiritual life, I always suggest, please read the biography of Sri Ramakrishna and also the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, his teachings. I could suggest this book, that book, and then so many other. And people usually they feel the great joy or pride to quote some big names. Have you read the book that? But they are not realized souls. They are good writers. They have command over the language. And they express things in a very nice way. But they are not realized souls. Why should I unnecessarily spend my time and energy to reading that? I want to know the truth. And that is called scripture, that is called spiritual instruction. After listening, after hearing, after reading, really inspiration comes. And that is, if you read the small book, some of the instructions of Swami Brahmananda Ji Maharaj, you will feel, yes, these are the words. So Swami Vivekananda's words, you feel, yes. Ma Sharadamani Devi, so simple, but her instructions. Here Sri Ramakrishna says, he says, I talk to the Mother, Divine Mother. Oh Mother, may those who come here, millions are coming. Every day so many thousands. It's so difficult to control the crowd over there. If you go to Dakshineshwar, so difficult to control the crowd. And he says, oh, come here. Through sincere attraction, this is the important word. Through sincere attraction. Attraction, why? I like to realize God. That is the attraction and nothing else. I like to realize God. I like to see God in this life. I like to stand face to face with God in this life. In the Upanishad they say, Iha ched abedit atasatamasti. Nachet iha abedit mahati binasti. It's a great loss if you cannot realize God in this very life, because there is no certainty what is going to happen after this life. So that is the reason, and Sri Ramakrishna says, the sincere attraction, often perfection. Perfection means understand the truth. So what will happen? God realization. What is God realization? Obtaining the perfection. What is the perfection? I am that one, and there is no two. So Sri Ramakrishna used this word, obtain perfection. So this is very, very important. Except God realization, no one can become perfect. Why? Little ego will be there. When the little ego will be there, so obviously he will never be able to be perfect. After the God realization, then only the ego will go down. Mahendra Kaviraj of Sithi was seated on the veranda conversing with the Ramlal, Hazra and others. The master called to him from his room. Him went out quickly to brought Mahendra in. Master to Mahendra, sit down and listen to my words. So this is called compassionate guru. Mahendra is a doctor, Kaviraj, in a traditional way of traditional medicine he used to practice. Now this person, he has come, but instead of listening to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is sitting outside and talking with some other people. Sri Ramakrishna calling him, come over here. He didn't call Hazra, if you notice. Hazra was also there. And some other people were also there. He called only Mahendra, come here. Why? That is the God's compassion. Those who are really good, but in somewhat little different way, God comes out in the through the Guru, and he says, come here, don't go over there, don't mix with those people. Just like the mother protecting. As the mothers, they always say, the parents, they will be all the time guiding the children. Don't go and mix with those people. Not that they are hating them, but they know that their influence may ruin the child. So that is the reason. Because of the experience. So the Sri Ramakrishna knew this man has really developed the sincerity, and now he is going and wasting the time, and Sri Ramakrishna is in that mood. Whatever he is telling, if they come and listen, it will be good for them. So he is telling, sit down and listen to my words. Mahendra was a little embarrassed. He sat down. Master to the devotees, Sri Ramakrishna to the devotees, God can be served in different ways. God can be served in different ways. Then he mentioned Shanta, Dasya, Shakha, Vatshalya, Madhura, all these different approaches. As the rishis, they are Shanta, they understand the God's work. They believe in the existence of God. They also believe that whatever is happening all around us, by the will of God, we have nothing to do. Just like the witness they will see. And no reaction at all. Good, bad, this, that. Rishis just observe and do nothing. That is called Shanta. Dasya always feel like going to serve the God. I like to clean this, I like to do this, I like to do that. That is always there. And third is Sakhya, as like a friend. The Swami Vivekananda used to call an American lady Tantine. And she was by age elder than Swami Vivekananda, but she used to say that I am the friend of Swami Vivekananda. And afterwards, when Vivekananda passed away, and she used to go and visit the Belur Math, then they used to ask, "Ma'am, what is your age?" Usually the people are not supposed to ask the age of the lady, but they used to ask. Then she used to say, "Only 6 years or 7 years," something like that. Why? The day I made that my friend Vivekananda, from day I was reborn. So my previous age, all those years, I don't count. So this is the love. I am reborn. So this reborn is possible in the Shakya. In the Arjuna also in Bhagavad Gita we find after a long discussion, then he says, whatever you say, I believe. And Vatshalya, this is sometimes the motherly way of worshipping God. The mother never cared for oh, God is a big person, all-pervading, powerful, all-knowing. The mother's heart, what will happen to God? I saw a small movie, and just before the 24th December, usually that type of movie comes, I was watching. Then a family, a poor family, they went to a sermon at church, and that Christmas Eve, it was snowing, very cold outside. The people with heavy dress, they all came, and then they were attending the church sermon. And one young little boy, he also went with his parents, and he was looking at the baby Jesus, just an image, the small little baby lying down and having no clothing. All people are praying to, oh Jesus, oh God. But this boy was feeling, oh, it is so cold. Why they have kept that without any proper clothing? He may catch cold. So what he was constantly trying to go near to that, because that was a decoration. So that the tattooed heart and then also many other people are there. The poor, the condition, and the Jesus is lying down, little baby. That's the image. This boy, he loved so much. It is not only mother. You see how the motherly heart. Then he was thinking, no, I should have to do something because he is suffering. These people, the elderly people, he was going on watching the faces. All people closing their eyes, praying to God. No one is caring about. So ultimately, when everything was over, they closed the door. He somehow hid himself inside, so far I can remember. And then when everybody has gone, he went and took the Jesus and then opened the door and went to his own house. Then his own sweaters and other dresses, he put that into the Jesus. Then his the sister came. Hey, what you are doing? So Jesus, they kept him like this. How the little boy can sleep? And you must be suffering. The little sister also joined him. Yes. So let us go and keep him back. Otherwise, the pastor will be angry. So they went back. When they went back, then they heard people here and there, they're talking about the Jesus. And one lady, she was telling, you won't believe. Jesus came and told me I am leaving this place. Well, then this happened. And she was all imagining things and telling, Jesus is not there, Jesus is lost. No one. Then they could not find the Jesus. They were thinking what happened. Then the old priest also came back. What happened? These two, when they are going, and a foolish man, he found these two slowly trying to enter into the church, and he followed them. They found that they are taking out the little Jesus and trying to keep over there. They were arrested. But all people, including the priest, they say, yes, no, they should not be punished for this, but they should be praised for their love to God. We all elderly people, we talk about God, but we never felt. So sometimes when you go through this, it is very warm room. We have to feel that God is sleeping. Shall we do it or not? Is that room is sufficiently heated for the God? Can I also live in this condition? That is called love. That is called feeling. So there's a wonderful, there are so many incidences in the life of Ramakrishna. His name was given by Swami Vivekananda as Ramakrishna Ananda. All his joy is in Sri Ramakrishna. So that is called love. And Sri Ramakrishna is telling like this. This is called the love for God. Sometimes, he is mentioning, sometimes Balarama looked on Krishna as a friend. Balarama, he is the disciple. He was a rich man, a landlord, but very humble. Balarama all the time, he used to dress in such a way that people used to feel that he is a servant. Very humble way he used to live. And Sri Ramakrishna is praising him. Balaram looked on Krishna as a friend. They were Krishna Bhakta. Sometimes he would think he was Krishna's umbrella. That is, holding the umbrella on Krishna, or he is lying down and Krishna is using his soul as a carpet, and on that the Krishna is walking. He served Krishna in all possible ways. Was Sri Ramakrishna hinting at his own state of mind while thus describing the different attitudes of a lover of God? Master Mahashaya is thinking, commenting. He described the Chaitanya's three spiritual moods. Chaitanya Dev used to experience three moods. In the inmost mood, he would be absorbed in samadhi. So this is to be noted, particularly as they say. So when there's a spiritual mood, there are three different steps. The first, the highest, the completely merged in God, no consciousness and no body consciousness and no external consciousness, nothing. There remain only that consciousness and nothing else. Swami Vivekananda, he has a poem, and there he is giving what happens in deep meditation. Ultimately, in his poem he mentioned, there will be I floating, not very strong, but still that little I is there. And when that I also goes away, what happens? Oh no, only those who realize can only experience that. It cannot be expressed. No one can express it, it can tell it. Boje pran, boje jar, in Bengali, in that poem. The one who realized that only could understand that. The Chaitanya, Sri Ramakrishna is telling that he used to go into that state, unconscious of the outer world, external world. In the semi-conscious mood, he would dance in ecstasy, but could not talk. Expression was impossible, but joy was so much. And along with the joy, along with the experience of that divinity, there was also experience of the worldliness. So he used to express that joy by dancing, through dancing. In the conscious mode, he would sing the glories of God. And ultimately when it comes down, then only he will sing. And there, in the Vedanta, they always give the example Jagrat, Sapna, Susupti, and Turiya. The Turiya condition, and the fourth, as the Vedanta says, the Turiya condition, Sri Ramakrishna explained the third, there no experience of two, only one. Advaita Bhava. In the Turiya condition, I and you, I and thou, it is absent. So that is the time no one can talk, no one can sing, no one can dance, no one can do anything, because it is all in that equilibrium condition. Then when it comes down, a little bit down, then little in the Swapna condition, something is there, but not that true, but still the joy is there, the feeling of that joy, at the same time, a little condition feeling of the worldly thing, he is dancing, expressing the great joy. And when the person is mad in joy, can't express that in words. And then finally, when the Jagrat, when the body and mind consciousness comes, then only he is talking about God. The devotees, you are listening to my words, try to assimilate them. So friends, sometimes some of the groups, they're very sincere groups in different places, and a small, very small group in North Dakota, and then Minneapolis, and also Detroit, then Ohio, and different places. They are developing. Then I'll be going also to visit them, Huntsville. So these people, they come twice or once in a month, and they sit and they read. They ask me, what should we do? Then I always tell, read 10 minutes from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna or the biography of Sri Ramakrishna. After 10 minutes, close the book, meditate for 5 minutes. Assimilation. Constantly reading and then, oh, finish this book, what next, what next? This is not like that. It is the assimilation. What Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Today we read the 5 pages, and from the 5 pages we find this is a sincere person going to Sri Ramakrishna with a sincere mind, accepting Sri Ramakrishna as the truth, as God, and then it is sure that he is going to get the God realization. Why? Because the God has promised. And what is the sincerity? 100% faith in the existence of Sri Ramakrishna. And why should I love Sri Ramakrishna? Not just because of this picture, not because of these or that, but Sri Ramakrishna, he is the embodiment of truth. He is the embodiment of love. He is the embodiment of unselfishness, completely free from ego. These I like. So my all sincere effort to reach to those. Whoever comes, there are 2 young people, that sister and a brother. I really wondered. So they came and they were asking the Swamiji, can you please tell what is God and what is the difference between Madhva and this Advaita and all this? I was wondering how these young people, they are learning. Maybe the family tradition is there. So then I told, you just read from the Bhagavad Gita. They have read Bhagavad Gita. Even the 7th standard boy, he was nodding his head. And when I said Bhagavad Gita, yes, yes, I know. I told the 12th chapter, yes, yes, I know. So I was really appreciating. It was a great effort of the parents to give them this idea. I told, since you know it, read once again that from 13 to 19 slokas of the Bhagavad Gita in the 12th chapter. And the 12th chapter, there the God is telling that particular person whom God really cares, like, love. Why? These qualities. So the list of the qualities. Then, again the 16th chapter, whole 16 chapter, except the 3 verses, he is going on giving the description of the bad things. Why? Because unless and until we know the bad things, we won't be able to appreciate the good. And then we have to have the compare. Oh yes, God said these are the things, and some of them is present in me. I have to be careful to eradicate these bad feelings, bad ideas from me. So that is the help the God is doing. But the first 3 verses, he has given 26 good qualities. Whoever comes to me, I say, please read these 2 from the Bhagavad Gita. And let us try to develop at least few good qualities from this 26 list. If we can do that, that will be the God realization. Why? The mind will be completely free from any attachment. So this is what Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna says. At dark put aside all duties and pray to God. This is the instruction of the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. The moment it is dusk, immediately put aside all duties and pray to God. One is reminded of Him by darkness. At the approach of the darkness, one thinks, I could see everything a moment ago. Who has brought about this change? He is giving a hint. And this is the phenomena every day we are experiencing. Of course, the city is like this, very advanced country. There is no darkness almost. But some of the places, I have noticed people here, they like the darkness, the natural way. So on the street there is no light, though there's a rich people's area. And inside the house, very dim light. But that gives, one should, I don't know, they are not practicing spirituality. Rather they are doing something else. But spiritual people, the moment it is dark, I was looking at those things, I could notice all those things that suddenly a change has come. That means day and night, light and dark, that is always coming in my life too. And sometimes I am happy, sometimes all miserable. So it may happen any time. The only way is to go to God. Sri Ramakrishna, he is telling Muslims, put aside all activities and say their prayers at the appointed times. Sri Ramakrishna is appreciating that. And they are very sincere. Even the rich, educated and poor, uneducated, all they will follow this. And that's why Swami Vivekananda also appreciated this quality of them. How in the whole society this thing has been given to them. And I noticed in the Middle East also, almost in every locality, in every block, there will be a mosque in the corner. Whenever from the main mosque, according to the time, there will be a call, the Ajan. Immediately you have to stop the car by the side of the road and you have to go to the nearby mosque and you have to sit down over there for prayer, maybe 10 minutes. 5 times a day. Whole society is following this. What happens? When you are praying even for 10 minutes, by that time, at least your mind goes to God. And there'll be the words, almost all of them, they memorize that, and they'll be telling the God is one, and there is no two, God is all pervading, God is all love, etc., etc. Remembering God. And the 5 times a day means that's a very good practice. And in the morning I do, and the night again I do, and in between I forget. So that is the reason the Muslims, they incorporated this system 5 times 10 minutes. I have seen in the Bangladesh, in the moving train, there is a special bogie left for that, and they have the arrow in every other bogies. For the mosque, for the prayer, you can go over there. So the vestibule train, so people will go and they will pray. Even in the moving train, all of them, they will go and they sit down, they pray. Every one of them. How much sincerity, how much success, that is not the question. Question is the habit. The question is how they are developing. Sri Ramakrishna appreciated that. Even the Muslims are doing. Then Mukherjee is asking, revered said, is it good to practice japa? He is asking. And Sri Ramakrishna, yes, one attains God through japa. The japa means repetition of the God's holy name. And that's why the mantra diksha. The God's holy name, any time you can do, any time. The Guru will say, okay, in the morning 108 times and in the evening 108 times. Taking the name of God 108 times, it doesn't take more than 5 minutes. Maybe in the beginning when slowly you are pronouncing, maybe hardly 10 minutes. But if you slowly develop the speed and the practice and constantly going on taking the name of God, that is called japa, and you will feel that when you are sleeping, that time also, the moment your sleep broke, you will find that subconscious mind, that name is going on. And that has a great effect. Sri Ramakrishna is telling that yes, it is. By repeating the name of God secretly and in solitude, one receives divine grace. The words of God. The Sri Ramakrishna is the God. He is telling this. So this is the truth. Then comes his vision. You go on repeating the name of God, and the time will come, you will start seeing gods and goddesses. Then come the visions. Suppose there is a big piece of timber lying under water and fastened to the land with a chain. By proceeding along the chain, link by link, you will at last touch the timber. It's under the water. You cannot see it. But the only way to reach that timber is that chain. Link by link, if you go slowly, then time will come when you will reach that timber. The example is just like that. There's a God. You don't have any idea of God. And where it is, how it is, you don't know. Instead of doubting, have little faith in the words of the Guru and the mantra that you have received and go on repeating that mantra. Just talk that. And nothing else. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, not this Guru or that Guru. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, just take the name of God and with a faith and sincerity, you will see God. You will reach God. And this moment, what we need? Two things, faith and practice. Faith in the words of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, the God, and then practice taking the holy name. Then he is telling, higher than worship is japa. When the external worship that we are doing, higher than that is the japa. Higher than japa is meditation. Why the japa, the name of God, and meditation, feeling the presence of God within. Higher than meditation is bhava. Bhava means transforming into that higher condition. Higher than bhava, mahabhava or the prema. So step by step. When the mahabhava comes, that is only for the avatars. Ordinary people cannot have the mahabhava. Only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to have the mahabhava and the prema. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna used to have the mahabhava and the prema. It is not possible for the ordinary people to reach up to that, but they can go up to bhava. Chaitanya Dev had prema. When one attains prema, one has the rope to tie God. The prema means that love, then the God is always with you. So this is how it happens. Mother, what a small-minded fellow he is. Now this small passage I will read and I conclude. He looked at the Hajra, and Hajra, we know, is a wonderful character. He used to live with Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. is to read lot of scriptures, but at the back of his mind it was always there to express that to the devotee, to impress his that great scriptural knowledge on the devotees, to get the attention of the devotees. Friends, this is the problem. When we come to the God, we start with that humbleness, we learn something, we read something, then we start thinking, I can teach, why not? And from then, all this day we used to go up, and then from there down begins. I can teach, I can tell. Maybe 5 people are wondering and then following, and so happy. Why? Ego, subtle ego. And I am thinking, no, I am talking about God only. But who asked you to talk about God? And how you are talking? If anybody is questioning you and not listening, are you not feeling angry? So these are the way we have to test ourselves. Discussion is one thing, but instruction, giving instruction is another thing. And it is present almost in everyone. Why? Ego. A little we read, little we hear, little we learn, and immediately we feel we can talk, we can give about the sermon about that without practicing. So Sri Ramakrishna is telling this to Hazra, who had these characteristics. He used to read a lot. He knew many scripture, but the problem was he always used to think, why people are not coming to me? Sri Ramakrishna has not read any book, but people are going to him. But he was God himself. Attraction was completely different. And here only I have learned and mugged up something, memorized something. Now that won't impress people. Here it says, love of God to Hazra, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, when it is intense and spontaneous, is called Raga Bhakti. Love of God, intense and spontaneous. We are not trying to develop love. It is called Raga Bhakti. Formal devotion depends on scriptural instructions. It comes, it goes. But Raga Bhakti is like a stone emblemed on the Shiva that has sprung up out of the earth. That is, he is telling, right there, you cannot remove it. Then Hazra is, me. An expression, okay, it may be, it may not be like that. These last few words are so important. One day, I was returning from the pine grove. Still the pine grove, small patch, still there in Dakshinesha. When I saw you telling your beads, Hazra, he is telling the Hazra, I saw you. I said to the Divine Mother, now I have marked these words, Mother, what a small-minded fellow he is. To Hazra he is telling. He lives here, still he practices japa with a rosary. Whoever comes here referring to himself will have his spiritual consciousness awakened all at once. I should conclude here, and we should meditate on these words. Friends, this is the last class because of quickly the darkness is coming. It is difficult for our senior citizens, people, to drive and come and attend this class. And slowly the winter is also coming. This is the time people go out of Chicago. So we have decided that we will suspend our Tuesday and Friday classes, because after the prayer only it becomes the night. So we will again resume this class and March, from March onward. I will send you, I have already sent you the November, the bulletin, there you will find that. So this is the last class, and all these lectures are available in YouTube and also in the CDs. And if you read the book and listen to the our discussions, it will be beneficial. And when he tells the Hazra, why you are taking the name of God by counting the beads? That means when you are in the presence of God, you don't need that. How to feel the presence of God? The presence of God you must have to feel. That is the main thing. Hazra, the poor person, of course, he was blessed. He only enacted that role, what was given to him by God himself. He read scripture, he wanted to realize God, but ego took him out. Though he used to live with God just another wall apart. If you go to see the Dakshineshwar, Sri Ramakrishna was inside the room and he used to live outside the room on that open space and just one small wall apart, but he could not realize God. And he used to take the name of God meditating. Sri Ramakrishna told Mother, why he is doing this? Living here? Can't he understand this? So Sri Ramakrishna is God. We should believe it. We should follow him. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Our Sunday discourse, Sunday service will continue up to December, and then January and February. The first January there will be, as usual, the Kalpataru Day. We will start the new year 2020 with the prayer and blessings of the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And then maybe 12th January, the birthday of Swami Vivekananda, according to Gregorian calendar, we will have his Tithi Puja also, because Tithi Puja comes in the weekdays and most of our devotees will be out. So Sunday, 12th January, we will have the celebration of Swamiji. These two. Then there is no program again in the last of February. It will be Shivaratri.